1. Roger Mulligan looked down at the dandelion, questioning his life choices. It sprouted in the verge where the paved parking area became manicured landscape. Did the fairies require some offering he'd not been aware of? Was he perhaps overdue in putting out the saucer of whiskey for the pixies, and this weed represented their dissatisfaction? Had the offending flora really sprouted and bloomed overnight? He shook his head. No, more likely he'd been so focused on getting on with the morning routine that he'd overlooked it for several days. The plant itself seemed well established. A dozen serrated leaves sheltered a single yellow bloom, still folded in the early morning light. Perhaps it only represented the persistence of fluff. The dandelion was a common weed, after all. He'd need to ask the old man about it, but duty called and he needed to get cleaned up before donning his uniform for the day. Moving on, he plucked the garden's morning offering, a spike of small pink bell-shaped flowers, and continued into Shackleford House. The coffee, brewed in his absence, filled the kitchen with its rich aroma. At least the pixies hadn't rebelled and turned the water into vinegar again. After tossing the morning paper onto his work table and placing the flower in a small vase waiting on the sideboard, he made his way to the shower to sluice off the effects of the morning run before putting on his suit. The rich fabric and perfect cut always settled onto him like a second skin, unlike the military uniforms he'd spent so much time in. They'd always needed a tuck here or there, a fold along a seam, perhaps, secured by his web belt. The thought reminded him of Sims, who always had his dress uniforms tailored to fit just so. Poor bastard. He shook his head to chase away the ghosts of his previous life, and shot his cuffs to check the length. He'd be taking the jacket off again shortly to put on his apron, but the ritual centered him each morning. The day would bring what it would bring. At least he'd prepared as well as he could. But that damn dandelion still bugged him. Joseph Perry Shackleford stood at his library's large window, staring down at the gardens behind the house. Lost in his own thoughts, he explored the edges of his memories, feeling the holes but unable to fill them in, no matter how hard he tried. He had been to Paris, at least once. In his 40s? He'd lived there for a couple of years, hadn't he? A white, tiled temple, the baths, something he remembered, or a phantasm created by his aging mind. He couldn't be sure. The longer he pondered, the more gaps he found. Wisps of memories cutting off in a fog he couldn't be sure about. Time's relentless sandpaper on memory, or the effect of that cursed amulet. The compass that had steered his financial ship for so many years before it started clawing back what it had so freely given. Had it stolen more than it gave? Images of cactus against a too-blue sky, of a rolling sea of sand, another of blue-green water stretched to the horizon beyond a ship's railing, echoes of tears and sighs and laughter, tantalizing, fading into obscurity without resolving into actual memories. What were they? When were they? One memory, a dusty cave in an Arizona desert, remained crystal clear. Small tracks from the lizards and snakes scribbled arcane messages in the sand. The mostly scattered bones of some poor sot, only those of a right hand, more or less intact, entwined in a heavy chain with a black amulet that called to him. A song as sweet as tempted Odysseus, but he'd had no ship to sail that desert. Only a battered Willys. No men to bind him to the mast. Hubris, his only companion. He sighed, blinking tired eyes against the morning light. Mulligan would be up with his breakfast soon enough. Good man, Mulligan. One with his own demons, no doubt, and who now carried one of Shackleford's around his neck. He owed that young man more than he could repay. Certainly more than a job taking care of one old fool hiding in his library. Thanks to Mulligan's actions, he'd been saved, at least twice. Once from the machinations of his treacherous gold-digging niece. Again, when Mulligan's fast thinking took Shackleford's curse as his own. A movement drew his eye to the weedy grasses across the way. A dusty gray tabby slinked into view, then hunkered down at the edge of the roughly paved alley, head turning left and right as if cataloging the landscape, perhaps looking for a breakfast of its own.